So I'm here to get ready for the, our AHA Club training. Today's topic is actually on the commercial, a commercial related broker. That's why I'm here to learn more myself. So just stay tuned for our video. And then that's why. Let me show you what we have here. So every month we got this AHA Club, on the monthly training. And then, just stay tuned to see who is going to be the broker today, who is going to be the speaker. So that's about it.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Hui, and I'm just a real estate agent, just like each and every one of you. All right, but what we do different, the all industry agent compete, right? Hey, I get in a deal with you, I gotta beat you up, I gotta try to win over you. We don't do that here, right? I do believe that, when we collaborate with each other, when we help each other get what they want, and then eventually you're gonna get what you want, right? And today I'm super excited to introduce a colleague of mine. His name is Kai. So long story short, he has a background. He actually has a really good commercial background as Marcus and Willie Chat. And we met actually in the deal. I was a seller, selling my triplex, and he's a buyer buying my triplex. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so we closed the deal and we ended up become friends. And before you notice, he got his real estate license and he joined me at EXP, right, which is an amazing brokerage to work for. If you haven't heard about it, definitely hit us up. But yeah, super excited to introduce you today, Kai. Four-time icon agent. For those are not for EXP, which means that you are the highest production achievement. Nice. The top 5% in the company of 90,000 agents. Can you believe it? The top 5%, of 90,000 agents is going to be here with you sharing his knowledge. Not only that, 3-time Diamond Award, which is, his gross GCI, I can't even say the word. Over last year, it's over $1 million gross commission income. Wow. Right? Alright, he gave all that away to his wife, so his wife is running the team now. His production residential team. So this year, Kai made a commitment to transition himself into commercial. He's leading, and he found and lead the CGP commercial group. And today, I'm not here to speak with y'all. I'm here as a student because I want to take note and I want to learn everything I need to learn about Kai because he's killing it with commercial already. So without further ado, I'm gonna give you the speaker. I'm gonna come back and take note. See ya.
All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome. Hi. So, I guess you saw a little bit background that I have. I know a thing or two about commercial, and that would be the topic that we want to talk about today, right? And just a heads up, right? These are some of the questions that I was hoping to get the answer for you guys today. And but the goal today is not how to train yourself to be the top-notch commercial agents out there. The goal today is introduce some of the basic foundation so you know what it is and what do you need to know about it. What exactly is some of the things that we can help some of the clients about it. And then hopefully based on today's 101 section, you're able to take it from there and focus more on the area that you want to master, right? And then after that, we'll take hours of studying to be really good at all sorts of commercial products. Now, based on some of these questions here today, by the way, I assume all of you here are real estate agents, correct?
Yes.
Anyone not having license?
I need to renew mine.
Okay, so I guess I can say some of the things that I'm going to say. That's good. Now, based on some of this, do you guys have any other questions besides these that you're hoping to get the answer to? Or these are pretty much the question everyone has.
How to find distress commercial property.
I don't know. Even if I know, I don't share. Okay, next question.
How do you locate before you evaluate it? How do you locate the location?
Okay, I will spend 5 minutes talk about some of the things that I do when I look for. I guess that will help answer that. So that will be the last question, right? where can we find some? I only know to share how can we find some commercial deal. I don't know exactly how to find a good commercial deal, because good commercial deal are different from people to people, right? And as we go through these questions, you probably will be find a lot of them are very familiar, because there's a lot of similarity between residential and commercial as well when it comes to investment. However, there's many differences, so we're going to go right into it, okay? All right, so what is commercial real estate? Exactly, right? So commercial real estate is anything, any product that has to do with majority businesses. There are some exceptions, right? If it comes to hotels, you deal with human beings. When it comes to a multi-family unit, you still deal with people's living quarter situations. So it's not entirely business. But outside of that, majority of all the other products, the tendencies of commercial products are businesses, right? Now, just like residential, when you talk about real estate investments, commercial real estate tend to focus a lot on the cash flow and the appreciation. You guys probably agree, the same thing with residential investment, right? Is there any other reason why someone invests in real estate? No, right? Mostly either cash flow or appreciation. Sometimes if you're really lucky, you have both, right? But a lot of times you have to pick and choose between the two. So, but of course in the commercial world there's a bigger scale, and there are some regulations that may dictate how you're going to approach the transaction. So we will dig down into that as well. Now we know what it is, but why? Why would someone want to invest in commercial real estate? What do you think are some of the benefits that residential real estate doesn't have? Anyone know?
Well, usually it's bigger cash flow.
Right, that's right. You're dealing with higher volume, higher cash flow, yes?
Less liability, like if you have a triple net, less what net means, something you don't have to worry about those things.
Right.
So what they can do to cover financial.
Yes, that's right. It's less liability, yes. What else? And by the way, I think I saw some very successful commercial agents within this group. So just so you know, a lot of things that we cover are going to be very basic. And I will touch on a few things that work well for me, and hopefully that may or may not help you as well. But feel free, if you ever see anything that you think is good for everyone to know, please shout out, okay? So now, benefit, okay, what else? Let's see. So of course, when we talk about benefit, there's a long list of benefits, but I'll just quickly touch on a few of them, okay? So the very first one, someone mentioned it, about cash flow. Well, not so much about just the bigger volume, but also a lot more stable in a way, right? What is the longest residential lease that you have seen? 2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
Right, 2 years, right? It's very hard to even find landlord willing to do 3 years, because then it takes away their ability to increase rent, right? But in the commercial world, how long is the leases?
5 to 10 years.
5, 10, 20, 30. When do you see 30-year lease?
McDonald's.
That's right, very good, okay. So we will cover some of that too. There's some differences, even within the commercial world. There's some super short one and there's super long ones. But typically you see 3 to 7 years is a short commercial lease, and 10 to 30 years is a longer commercial lease, right? Now, how about appreciation potential? Huge, right? Because a lot of times there's something called forced appreciation. And in the commercial world, whenever you're able to successfully force appreciation of property, it can go up in hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars, right? So the potential is there for sure. Now, tax advantage, that's also a huge one. In the residential portfolio investment, you can find some sort of tax benefit along the way, but in a commercial, you intensify it. Some of that exponentially, right? You're talking about able to sell deferred capital gain tax, you're talking about depreciation, but not just regular depreciation, you're talking about super expedited depreciation, right? By doing cost integration and all of that. And what that means basically is translating more dollar into the pocket of the investor who will do a commercial deal, okay? And then diversifications. How many commercial property type out there do you think? 1, 2, 5, 10. There's quite a few of them, right? Because like we said earlier, commercial real estate is anything dealing with businesses. As many type of businesses out there, there can be as many type of commercial product. Of course, they have some big category for those, so we will cover some of the more common one that we can look at. But because of that, anyone who start getting into commercial real estate development investment, they can diversify their holding, so that way they never have to subject to just one kind of risk in the market. Okay. Lastly, inflation hedge. This is just a slight bonuses for only commercial real estate. Most of the time when you hold a commercial product for 5, 7, 10 years, it's very hard for you not to beat inflation along the way. Some area of residential, you may see slightly less appreciation along the way, but not in the commercial world, because there's more than one way for you to increase the value of your property. So you cannot lose unless you don't know how or never ask, right? Okay, so let's touch on some of the common type of commercial investment. So everyone familiar with all this? Anything jump out as very rare or weird? Probably except the last one, right? So like I say, office space, anything that you have seen. But now, lately, in the last probably 5 years or less, you see a huge influx of suburban office park, right? And that is not your traditional office high-rises, but more like a group of segmented ownership within the whole building. Just like this one we're in right now. This half of the building, for those who are not familiar, their traditional lease is 3 to 5 years and more. But this part of the building is everything short-term lease and very small office park for everyone. Right? And then retail and restaurant, everyone see industrial warehouses, multi-family, anything 5 units or more, because you can no longer use the 1 through 4 contract, right? And then special purposes, I say this can be unlimited type of property that you can think of. As long as there's a business that has a use for a piece of real estate, that can be a special purpose commercial building. Okay? Of course, some of them can dictate what type of financing that you can get. Are you guys familiar with SBA loan?
A little bit.
When can someone get a qualify for SBA loan?
They have to stay, they have to occupy the building more than 50%.
Right. So the owner needs to occupy or use the building 51% of the whole property, right? Yeah. So some of the special purposes may be able to accomplish that, but not all of them, right? Because some of them the owner really just investing, right? Okay. All right. Now I will quickly go over a few of this. This just a takeaway, because when you dig down into the differences, all of them, there can be a gazillion different examples. But for example, even lease structures, the most common commercial lease you probably see nowadays is the net leases. But however, there's also different commercial buildings that focus on or want to prefer to have percentage lease as well. Anyone think of an example? What type of retails or commercial building that the landlord would prefer to have percentage lease? Or have seen one, not even prefer. Food court, yes. Potentially, yes. Anyone else seen anything similar? Percentage lease? Basically, the landlord can collect rent based on the revenue or income of that businesses.
Anything retail?
Yeah, a lot of retail people play restaurants, right? They prefer that because restaurants they can have huge influx of revenue and whatnot. So, but just to say, even though a lot of time these days, most people prefer less liability, less risk of the increasing of all the common costs, so they try to go for net lease, or specifically triple net lease, but there's some businesses or some landlords still prefer to have the percentage lease because they see that there's a higher potential income that they may go to get from the business. Maintenance responsibility, okay. Most of them, this is one of my favorite part about commercial properties, because you have as a landlord, you can have very minimum maintenance responsibility. Most of them, if you see any shopping centers, any commercial properties, the landlord only responsible for anything from the door out. So the the tenant is not responsible for everything from the door in. Most of the lease has been written that way, right? And so, as a landlord for commercial property, you don't have to worry about maintenance such as the toilet clog or anything like that, right? The business is tenant to take care of themselves. Or if they try to drag the landlord into it, the landlord can bill them back for the cost of doing those maintenance because it's tenant responsibility. Now, however, a few instances that's still not the case is multifamily for apartments. For those that have lived in an apartment, do you ever have to fix everything inside your apartment? No, you call the maintenance group, right? You call the property, right? So in that case, the property owner is still responsible for majority of the maintenance. And then, we talked about this, how much longer can it be? So believe it or not, in the commercial world, retail this is considered very volatile and short. Even though it's 3 to 7 years, but 3 to 7 years is short in the commercial world, right? Most of the commercial owners, they like the predictability of the cash flow that's coming in. So they prefer those that have 10, 20, 30-year leases. Now, and valuation. This is also one rare instances. Sometimes when you start talking to people who invest in different type of property, and then when you talk about hotels, you can see the hotel is a very different type of animal when it comes to investing in commercial real estate. And their valuation is also a little bit different as well. They like to prefer to value a hotel based on sale multiples, and not just the cash flow or cash on cash return that's coming in. But that's a specialty of that product, and we don't dive into too much detail on it. But just to keep in mind that when you talk to someone about a potential commercial deal, whatever deal that they're doing can very well dictate how you're going to approach it at the end as well, because they can be very different. Right? Now, I want to quickly touch on this. I know anyone, any good investor that you talk to, if they invest in something, have you ever heard a phrase say, make money on the buy?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that mean?
Buy cheap.
Right. Buy cheap, right? You get to sell. When you go to Black Friday, you don't get a deal. Not Black Friday, a deal, right? But, so, the same thing, right? In commercial world, when you buy a commercial property, you want to know for sure what are you going to do with it, right? Are you a short-term holder? Are you a long-term holder? Are you a value-added investor? Or are you, focused on the stability of cash flow kind of thing, right? And that may dictate how you're going to exit the deal. So, in a nutshell, there are 3 different choices, right? Either you sell it outright when you already appreciate so much in value, you sell it, right? Do something else. Or you refinance, right? If you were able to successfully force the valuations of a property, after a few years, after the time period that you hit your goal, then you want to do cash out. So that way you can repeat and roll that capital into something else. And in some cases, you can also repurpose. And development mostly deal with raw land, right? Or redevelopment is land with something on it, but then you can demolish it, or you can just go in and restructure the building and the purpose, so that way you can get something out of it, or just able to sell the potential of it, right? Okay, now, and before I go into the specific of how I recommend looking into deals, I also want to quickly touch on this cycle. Okay, this is my personal observations, if you may, because we quickly touched on this earlier, but I have an opportunity to be with a company called Marcus and Millichap, and they are one of the biggest national brokerage, commercial brokerage in the U.S., right? And specifically, I was a senior financial analyst, so I look at deal valuation every day, every week. With the time that I'm with them, I probably end up underwriting probably 50, 100 million worth of commercial real estate, give or take. But what I start noticing is I start seeing some patterns in the investor. So don't hold myself to this is my opinion, okay? Majority of them, of course there's always some exception, but majority of the people who are investor, right? They're starting out with single family. You see that. Why? Because there's some sense of familiarity, right? We're going to talk about all that. But they started out single family, and then after that, they move on to small multifamily. What they consider small? Probably 20, 30 unit or less apartment. That's considered small. And then from there, when they either the property appreciate enough or the investor able to get additional capital and all that, so they start rolling it into large multifamily. And large multifamily consider 50, 100 or more. And some of the advantage that small multifamily investors start seeing and going to large is because they can leverage scale, right? Because in any commercial product, the profit equal revenue minus expenses. So in multifamily, the more unit you have, just like proportional to like the more houses that you can have economy of scale, right? It's easier for you to control the income because imagine if you increase rent by $50 and you have 50 units, 100 units, that means you're essentially increasing a huge chunk of income on your statement, right? And then when you have expenses, if you can start having contractors or handyman on payroll, that means you can essentially control your fixed costs on most of the expenses that deal with this property. So that's why people are rolling into that. Now, why do people go from single family to multifamily before they touch any other product type? Similarity, right? Because you used to, when you have one rental property, 2, 5, 10 rental property, you're used to dealing with people and you understand the normal 1 year lease, 2 year lease. That's why they go with multifamily. But of all the commercial type out there, I can say that multifamily are the most management intensive. What's that mean? That means you have to really manage those properties because people move in, move out, sometimes 12 months, sometimes some apartments that have 6-month lease, right? 9-month lease. So the turnover is constant. So if you are a small multifamily owner, you have to manage it yourself, or you have one property manager that's helping you. But if you have large multifamily, then you start having management company, and those that start helping, be able to fully manage it and a little bit hands-on. But still, it's very management intensive. But when they have enough of that, some of them they go from small straight to retail warehouse, some go to retail warehouse. Why? Because it's less management intensive. Sometimes it's because they understand businesses. They want to completely not dealing with residential people at all. Then they go to business tenant, right? And then along the way, and because before I explain the flow of all of this, I have to say that every single step along the way here, they want to do 1031 exchange. I don't know what you know. Who knows what 1031 exchange is? Almost half the room. Good. Now, what is the one benefit that 1031 has?
No capital gain.
You don't pay capital gain tax.